Hey, Christina.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good, good.
Awesome. Thanks for meeting with me today. Is Jay joining us today as well?
I don't exactly know. I texted him, and I haven't heard back, so I'm not sure.
No worries. We'll give him a couple minutes. We'll give him a couple minutes, and if he doesn't show up, I'll just go on with my review for you.
Okay,
Awesome. How's your day coming along?
it's going. I just took my dog on a walk and then about to start working. How's
I
your
love
day?
Good, good. I know I'm right there with you. I normally never have calls before 10:30.
Yeah.
But Jay was like, I can't make any other time or something. I never mind it, but I'm like you, like I'm still kind of like grooving into my day. What time zone are you in?
So I'm in Pittsburgh.
You're
So
in
I think that's
Pittsburgh.
Eastern. So I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
What
cool.
time zone are you
Yeah,
in?
I'm the same. I'm the same. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah, 9:30 is early, for us.
Yeah.
I
I
was
mean, I'm
actually
used to
just in
waking up at like
Harrisburg.
7 because my son used to go to school. So I wake up at like 6:37, but I still wake at the same time. It's just a different,
Yeah, it
mode.
looks different.
Yeah.
Are they on summer break right now?
So yeah, they're on summer break. Like a couple weeks ago, they went on summer break. And then so in Carnegie, which I live in, which is like a part of Pittsburgh, some of the kids have summer school. Like my nieces and nephews have summer school, but my son doesn't have
Gotcha.
summer school. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay, cool. Well, I'll get started with this review.
Okay.
If he jumps on in, he jumps on in.
All right.
I'll start over. It's nothing crazy complex. Let me pull this up here. The campaign actually did really well.
Just Getting Started scored 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Why did that audio just viral?
I was like, what?
That was weird. Yeah. I don't know what that was. Hopefully, I have no idea. But yeah, so the campaign really fired off to go really well, which I was very thankful to see. So on 3,300 dials, we got 369 contacts, which is good. And then out of that, we got 15 leads,
Okay.
which is really solid. What I tell people is what we want to see at a minimum is 2 leads per 500 dials on average. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're seeing that as a minimum, then we're going to average into closed deals at a beautiful cost per lead ratio, right? Because that
Right.
means, even if this campaign was $12.75, and so if we're getting all the leads in, it's a good sign that we're going to close a deal
Right.
fast. So, and then some more into the numbers. So out of the 369 that answered, only 53 told us that we had the wrong number, which is
Okay.
great. Now, what that means is 86% of the people we spoke to were the right person that we were looking for, which is great
Right.
news. Okay. And we had an 11.18% contact rate, which is also really good. If you guys go to investor meetups and brought that up, they'd be like, really?
Oh yeah.
So,
No, 100%. Yeah.
so that's a great one. And then for texting also did really good. I'm not sure if his markets shifted a lot. I don't think his last campaign performed as well as this one did. I think this
No,
one.
so I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like this one did like almost more than twice as better as the last one did. So I don't know if he made changes in his markets that he gave us or anything.
So we did change the zip codes a little bit. However, on this market, when I was looking at the conversations or the, feedback from the potential sellers, they weren't very, yes, it is great that they, had the correct information. So the data was there. But they would say like, question, why are you selling? Oh, because you asked. Well, it didn't really show like motivation from any of the sellers.
Sure.
Like, I think even though the contact was there and even like, which is a good start and a good thing.
Yeah.
There weren't really any motivated sellers, or they would say a number, which the number would be even like above a Zestimate number. So it
Sure.
didn't makes sense.
Yeah, I would still, I don't know what your guys' strategies are. I would call every lead,
Yeah.
and try to get them on the phone. I mean, you got to keep in mind too that this is like our first contact,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
and to like, a lot of them are rough around the edges. The good news is, you put Americans in. So like, for example, we've noticed with foreign callers that the number is even more of a bullshit number, if that
Right.
makes sense. Right. And so it's like with the Americans, it helps lower their bullshit meter, which can get a little bit of a better number. But I always recommend diving into it. But on texting too, this one went really well. We did 1,650 texts, 246 people replied. And that's just a huge sign that people are reading our text. I mean,
Right.
you got to figure that's almost 20%, I'd say. And if you think about it, if 20% are responding, I'd say 50% at least are seeing it, which
Right.
is a really good sign. And then out of those 15 people became a lead. So that's good. So you guys should have gotten about 30 leads on this campaign. And does that sound about right with what you've seen on the back end?
So not exactly, well, maybe he did, but so he
Okay.
messaged in an email to have me included. I'm like, to get a text
Mm.
alert or get a little alert when somebody would, be a lead in order to like, because he also
Yeah.
works at the hospital and my job's more flexible. So in order to contact them right away within like the 20-minute window. But I never get any messages or any alerts that anyone text or call or answered a call.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that we can only send things to one email address at a time.
Okay.
I did ask Brenzy she's in this chat with us, to compile all of the leads and then send those over to you. So that
Okay.
way you can kind of get a feel for all of them as
Okay.
well. And then that will be everything from the campaign, but we'll get those over to you today. We'll get you all the texting leads and we'll get you all the calling leads.
Okay. And then what do you use like call tools? Jay
Yeah.
said, or call tools. Is that for texting and calling then?
No, we just use that for calling. We use this really ugly software for texting called the Automated REI.
Okay. Okay.
That's what we use for texting.
I was gonna say, because I didn't think I used to use call tools like years ago and it was great. And but then something happened to their voicemail drops. So then
Yeah,
I
they took
changed
those
like
away. I
yeah.
know, those used to be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I used to love that shit. But yeah, and then they don't offer the texting. They also took texting away.
Yeah.
Too. They used to offer a type of text, but it wasn't a blast. It was a sequence. Like after you called, you could text them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, they took that away too.
I
And
do like
they
the bulk texting.
just took away another feature too. I honestly hate them, but their shit does work good.
Yeah.
I think their interface is super ugly. I think their customer service sucks. But at this point, I've got like $10,000 in automation built specifically around them.
Right.
And it's such a bummer to be trapped. But hey,
Oh,
it's a good product. It's a good product. It's just surrounded by crap. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's not that many out there. I mean, there's like call tools and Mojo Dialer.
Right.
Yeah, let's see.
Right. Yeah, there's
That's
not a
it.
lot going on.
Yeah, you get two choices. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, send those over. I'll take a look at
I will.
them.
Okay.
So I guess how would we, if we're trying to get a hold of them within a short window, how can we assure that we can do that?
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to make sure whoever's responding to the emails is the only person on there, or you guys create a shared email and you send that over to us. We can only send the leads to one email at a time.
Okay, so maybe we'll just, so then do the leads get text as well, or they only get emailed?
We send a text that says that, hey, check your email for a lead. You do get a text that says you got a new lead. It's in your email. But
Okay, so sorry.
go ahead. Very good.
Can that be sent to multiple numbers, or is that one number?
No, everything can only go to one phone
One.
number. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, our system only works as like, there's like one campaign only for each thing, unfortunately. But yeah, but I mean, that should be, everything should be going to the person who's going to be the one responding to it, so if that's you, then all the information should be updated. If you guys want, it'd probably be best to create a shared email
Yeah.
that both of you log into. That way he can at least get the notification, oh, we got a lead, but he'll know that you're on it already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll have to share that with him and create one.
Yeah, and even Gmail's great. It doesn't have to be, anything official. We even make all of ours now on Gmail.
Yeah, it's easy on there. One spot.
Yeah,
So
well,
I don't know I don't know if he's starting a new campaign or where that stands moving forward. Did
Okay,
he share that
sure.
with you?
No. I know he got a contract off the last one. I know the last one didn't perform nearly this well. He got a contract off of it. And then this one came, and this may have increased his hopes. Like, I think his last one only got 8 altogether. I mean, he got 4 times more leads this round than last round, I believe, if memory serves me right.
I believe so too, because I remember talking to him about the previous leads, and
So I'm sure he's going to feel encouraged a little bit, about that, I mean, but so, yeah, I'm not sure, but, to me, like, I'm not too much of that type of, business. We create this stuff that people can come and go as they please, if that makes sense. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people use us like a quarter at a time, if that makes sense. Like once every quarter, they'll do a big package and they'll work the leads and try to close them, and they'll come back and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so we kind of, I don't want to say promote seasonality, but it happens a lot, if that makes sense. But yeah, whenever he's ready, I'll make sure he gets the same 10% bonus that he's been getting as well, which is where we do the 300 extra dials and the 150 extra texts. We pull all the extra records and stuff. But yeah.
And then how many, and I think you told me, but maybe just remind me, how many texts are sent per day?
We send about 500 per day, but it really depends on your plan and what you guys pick. So in this one, you guys wanted everything done in a week. So we did everything in 1 week. Some people choose 1 month, and then we'll take that commitment and we'll split it up over 4 weeks, if that makes sense. And so our weeks also run Saturday to Friday. So, the new campaign would start between Saturday and Monday, and then we would send over the leads like that.
Okay. And then only because this happened to me a couple times where I would be texting. So say if they get a text, right, time goes by, like, a couple weeks later, they text in or they call back. Are they able to then reach out to your people?
Well, so yeah, the only thing that we do is we monitor the inbox for up to 4 days after we send the text. But after that, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're leaving your campaign in the dust. To be transparent, like we don't have like an inbox that goes somewhere. I figured it would just kind of like restart the software we use, like I was saying, it is really ugly, so it's like, it's not so like clean, if that makes sense. So we would actually have to go back, find your campaign, click in it, click that button, and look through it to find it. So we only do that for up to 4 days after the campaign. So that's what we do to like kind of protect you guys.
That makes sense. Okay. I kind of thought it was something like that. I used to use, oh man, so many of them until so many of them you couldn't use, like. Yeah.
It's crazy out there. I got lucky. I can't believe ours is work. That's why the interface is so ugly, but just like Call Tools, it's a great delivery.
Oh yeah, it works. It delivers.
Everything's a compromise.
Yeah. I think that's all I have right now. Yeah, I'll talk to Jay about creating a new email and, see whose number could receive those notifications. And then I'll check out the current leads too. And like you said, I think when they initially talk to me, and some people not, right? Some people just are jerks anyways and just wasting people's time. And then
Yeah.
some people are like, hey, these people are bullshit, but I do kind of want to sell. So we'll see.
Yeah, right.
I'll kind of give them another ring and see what's up. But yeah, I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, great. And yeah, what I would do with these leads is, the cold calling especially is a little bit different. I think text messaging is much more transactional,
Yeah.
but with cold calling specifically, because we're starting with the relationship, what I would do in your shoes is the first 2 calls you have with them, only relationship calls, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, get them to like you, win them over. What are we doing with the property? What do we want to do with the money? How long's it been in the family? Tell me about grandma, tell me about your shit, right? Like really getting
Yeah.
all that out. And then once all that's out, okay, well, great. Well, look, we've been chatting for a couple of days. I got to take a look at it. Sounds like the house needs some work, right? So, good news is I like doing work on houses, and then like leaning into that. And then I also recommend having like a 3-pronged offer where you start with the cash offer, you move to creative financing, and then you either list it, you either give it to a realtor, or you do a novation deal where you list it with the realtor with the homeowner's permission, and then you make the spread that way. So
Yeah.
I recommend, I don't know if you know a lot about novations or creative finance, but
I don't. So Jay was telling me a little, so I'm a realtor as well,
Okay.
but
great.
I don't really know anything about novations. I'm not really sure.
So I don't think you would do, well, you would probably still do novations as a realtor. Basically what a novation is the fact that you're a realtor is probably a little irrelevant, but one part of the process will still stand. So a novation is this. I offer a homeowner $50,000. The
Okay.
home's worth 100. They want 80. Okay. They're not going to come on for 80. Okay. So I'm going to say, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a novation, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to repair it up to receive an FHA loan.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that your property is accepted by the most popular loan in America. All right. Then I'm going to do whatever repairs necessary, no cost to you. Okay. Then I'm going to list the house. Now, what you do is you get the homeowner to sign a contract. Okay. $80,000. Okay. I'll get you 80,000. They sign a contract, $80,000. Now you're going to take this property and you're going to list it on the MLS. Now there's 2 ways to do this legally. One, now the fact that you're an attorney, I don't know what changes here, or attorney. You're a realtor.
I wish I was an attorney.
I don't know what exactly changes here for this, but the first thing is you get a power of attorney, and then you can sign off on the real estate sale of their home for them with the realtor. Now, again, you are a realtor. So I think this part might just be super easy. You could just be like, hey, sign these docs. I'm a realtor.
Here you are.
Normally the wholesaler is mediating between the seller and the realtor, and that's why they have to do that, right? In this case, what you basically do is you assume the control of the offers and the acceptance, because you're just guaranteeing them $80,000.
Right.
So you don't want them to see an offer for $90,000 and take it, because that's not what you want. You want to take the $110,000 offer. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's like this contract puts you in control of the sale of the house. Okay. And then when it sells for, let's say 110, you have to cover the repairs and you have to cover the realtor. Okay. So that's either you or that's the, or the other person's, right? In your case,
Right.
Again, because you're a realtor, there's other things that won't happen. But if you were a wholesaler, you have to pay the realtor their fee, right? And then if the other person has a realtor, that ends up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Couple questions. So, say seller's like, "Hey, I need 80," and it's worth, with 10 more thousand, it's worth 110, right? So, do you put those repairs in before it goes on the market then?
No, you don't do anything until you get a buyer, because you don't you don't want to come out anything out of pocket that you don't need to. So it's like someone's like, hey, I'm interested. Great, I'm gonna get $1,000 worth of repairs done. I'm gonna get $2,000. You know, the thing is, it's not normally a lot on these houses to really
Okay.
get that up to code, right? And you know, I was in this mastermind and they were saying like a $500 repair to a homeowner might as well be a $500,000 repair. You know,
Right.
so it's like, you know, it's kind of like playing off of that. You're really offering a white glove home selling service and they're still getting the price they want for the house, right? Is basically
Okay.
kind of the difference, you know?
So say like it goes through, put it up, you list it, right? You put a contract out. And is there like a specific Novation contract?
There is some documentation that I don't know a lot about. I've heard a couple things. One, that it's its own contract, another one that it's a line that just gets added to the regular
Like an
contract. So,
addendum line, okay.
yeah, and so I've heard one of those two things. I would do some research online on novations now that I've kind of created the breadcrumb and set up the thing. Well, I'm really not an expert. I know it works and I've got very successful clients doing it, right?
Okay,
And what it is it's a part of the journey. It's cash offer, creative finance, novation, right? As they
right.
keep saying no, but the goal is for you to have such a good relationship that when the answer is no, it's not click, it's okay. Well, what were you thinking? What were
Right,
you
right.
planning on doing? Well, how much money do you need for the house? So it's really about massaging the lead
Yeah.
because I can tell you what's also going to happen. By the time you get all the way to novation, they're going to say, is that cash offer still available? Right? And the answer is yeah. Hell yeah, it is. Actually, all three are available all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I will always do that. And so what you're almost doing, if you think from this angle, is you're really almost a real estate service.
Right,
If you think
right.
about it, you know, and I think as a realtor, you actually have a fourth strategy. So you've got what I've just named and what you can do. You've got every strategy under the sun to solve their problems.
Right, right. No, that's what I usually do, a cash offer. And then if they say no, I
You list
usually
it.
just say like, would you be open to terms? Because people understand like subject to mortgage and all this creative financing side to say, would you be open to terms? And then,
So a better question that was
Yeah.
taught to me by Ron LeGrand
yeah,
is how much do you want?
okay,
Right. Well, I want 150,000. Okay. Would you be open to receiving that amount in monthly payments?
okay,
I
that's a
think
good
that's
strategy.
a really, really cool way to say it. Even terms sounds a little fancy, right? Whose
Yeah.
terms? Whose terms are these? You know what I mean? And so Ron LeGrand taught me that, and he's like the godfather of creative financing. So
Okay, so would you be open to receiving it over monthly payments? Okay,
Yeah.
that's clever.
So that
Okay.
way you're not even arguing with their price. Yeah, okay, hey, I could do that if you're open to doing monthly payments. You know, and
Okay,
then we could
okay.
even do a little bit down, you know, some pushback. Well, look, I could do some down, you know, how much would I put down? Would that make you comfortable with doing this? Right. And then you massage that. And then if that doesn't work, you go, well, look, okay, you just want 80,000. That's your base price. You know, it's worth 30% more. Fuck it. We're going to novate it. Here, sign this contract. But see, I heard the trick with novations is you want 80,000. Okay. Now, do we have time? Okay. Because you know, as well as I do, if we list it, it's going to take 30 to 60 days. Then
Right.
we're going to have to get to a closing. Then the closing is going to take 30 to 60 days.
Right,
know,
right.
And so what you want to, and then you're still giving them the squirm. No, I don't have time. Well, then we should revisit the cash offer or the creative finance. If you have time, then we can dive into the novation.
Right.
Okay?
Oh yeah,
So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess what the novation is, you're saying like, say you list it for 110, whatever, and then you wait till the inspection, say FHA or VA, or maybe it's just a regular home buyer. You wait till they come in and they say, oh, well, you know, there needs to be separate outlets or, you know, electric ran.
Well, the
there
thing
needs
is,
to be
I don't-
like this or that.
To be fair, I don't really think the person walking the house is going to pick up on what's going to make it FHA required, quote unquote, right? But I think they're just going to see the house. And then when we see that they're interested, then I think only at that point we invest anything, right? It's
Okay,
like,
so once you get the FHA like report from the inspection, pretty much.
yeah. And then it's like, bam, we'll fix it all. Or to be honest with you, I'd even have a contractor ready because you know it's going to come up, right?
Right.
And then so it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we actually already had a punch list. We'll add these things to it. Bam. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay, it makes sense. Yeah, I guess
I
I
mean,
was
that-
confused when Jay and I were talking about it. I was like, well, why would you put the money in before? And if you're saying
Right.
you're gonna, it was just like really confusing, but that makes
Well,
sense.
yeah,
how
you're
you-
exactly right. And what you're saying is we need to protect our capital,
Right,
right?
right.
First and foremost. And you're exactly right. And that's the mind. You don't want to go in there and make the repairs and then the deal doesn't work and this homeowner just got $5,000, $2,000.
Right, right. And then he's like, well, we can put a lien. I was like, that doesn't really, still though, that's
you
money in
wait.
your pocket. You're not gonna get that.
You wait for the interest a little
Yeah.
bit, right? And you'll know right away, shit, if you're getting 3 offers, let's repair this motherfucker. This house is, this thing's gonna sell, right? And if it's piddling around, you'll also know there too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll meet with Jay or talk to him and find out what we can do or what the next step is. And then so from your opinion, do you think calls or texts are stronger?
Well, to be fair, after you get all these leads and call, so here's what I would recommend. Get all these leads, call them all again, and then you decide how it works in your market. So here's how I feel in truth. Cold calling leads are better because the person regards them higher.
Okay.
They give them more respect, right? If someone texted me they wanted to buy my house, I wouldn't tell a single soul that happened, right?
Right.
If an American woman called me and asked me if I wanted to sell my house, that's what our callers are. They're mostly women and they're American. I would regard that higher, a 5-minute conversation. Right. Okay. However, texting is so inexpensive and so transactional.
Yeah.
Like texting's almost like a cheap ass form of direct mail. It's the same thing. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's right in front of them.
That's right. And so I think texting is always worth it only because it's cheaper. If it was as much as cold calling,
right,
and then it produced that lead, I would say no, but it's not. It's like a third or a quarter of the cost of cold calling, if that makes sense. So for me, I think it's always I think cold calling is the best, but for the cost of texting, it's always worth supplementing it.
Okay.
And those all-inclusive packages, just to give you an idea, if you were to break all those prices out individually, it would come up like texting was free added on.
Right.
Just to let you know, like I added a price break. So it's like, it feels like texting is free. Just so it's like in that package, you're not really paying more for.
Kind of pretty much included. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were to break that out, you would be saving probably $20, but losing out on like $150 worth of value. For
100%. Yeah.
For example, just to give you the in-depth answer rather than just yes, those are I want to give you some more info.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll talk to him and see what's happening next.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christina. Great to
Of
meet
course.
you.
Thanks you so much. Nice to meet you too.